winter 2020 anime season was a mediocre season for me. I somehow managed to skip on two really good series that aired, such as ID Invaded and Dora Hidoro, and I'm not caught up on Railgun or the Haikyuu series. Thus, my favorite anime from the season only landed in an 8 out of 10. I managed to watch a lot of bad anime as well. Well, not necessarily bad, but anime that I really wasn't that interested in. With that, let's take a look at all of the series I watched during the winter 2020 season. Thankfully, I did manage to watch what seemed to be the big talk of the season, Interspecies Reviewers. The anime was hilarious and had one of the best balances of comedy and ecchi I've seen in a while. I was skeptical going into the series when I read the synopsis, an anime about brothel reviewers. Surely this will be a misogynistic cringe fest. That being said, I really enjoyed how this series was handled. Hot 10. This is the series I've read most mixed reviews about online. For me, Darwin's Game wasn't something I was crazy invested in, but I was enjoying watching it. I enjoyed the beginning and the ending, but found that the middle parts of collecting rings around the city was not overly enjoyable. Maybe it just went on for too long for my liking. Not a bad series by any means, but I'm glad it was only 11 episodes. 6 out of 10. InSpectre was my most interested show at the start of the season. I'm not really one for mysteries, but I found myself super invested with Kodako and the way she thinks. The Steel Lady Nanase arc went on for way too long though. Despite that, it was one of my favorite shows of the season. 8 out of 10. Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken is the anime that I thought was the best of the season. I love watching the characters work towards something they enjoy and that they were so passionate about doing. I was even happier watching the final episode of the series when we got to see that anime that they had spent each episode creating. It was a rewarding experience for sticking around to the end. 7 out of 10. Somali and the Forest Spirit was a show I originally picked because I needed something I could watch at the gym or in public. The series started off slow and I thought it was going to be a boring series about a father-daughter type relationship spanning 12 episodes. However, around episode 5, when Somali started to show off her own personality, adventuring into the world and learning about it, it became a series that I wanted to finish. 6 out of 10. I had high hopes for this anime. I thought the premise of this anime was super cool, having a world that revolved around a count and people fighting to keep their count high enough to survive. I thought there would be more focus on Hina's count and her finding her mother, like in a Made in Abyss type way, but sadly it focused more on Licht and his ability to be an overpowered pervert. I ended up dropping the series at episode 7 because I had no idea how it was going to go on for 24 episodes. Isekai Quartet 2 is an interesting watch for me because I've only seen Konosuba and ReZero, and not Overlord or the Saga of Tiny and the Evil. A lot of the jokes went over my head in Season 1, but I found that Subaru and Kazuma's interactions would carry the show enough for me. Now in Season 2, Naofumi was introduced from The Rising of the Shield Hero, which I still haven't seen yet, but I don't feel like I'm missing out on that many jokes with him. Near the end of the series, they introduced Seiya and Restarte from Cautious Hero, which I have seen, so I'm looking forward to their interactions together. 7 out of 10. Nekopara was the show I was most excited for as it finally was getting a full-fledged anime adaptation. I was expecting an ecchi comedy similar to the visual novel, but what I got was a cute cat girls doing cute cat girl things. And that was fine. I still enjoyed it. Not much to say about this one really. It was an enjoyable series that wasn't quite up to my expectations, but it was still a fun watch. 6 out of 10. Seidon Academy joined the pack was the biggest surprise to me of the season. Along with Interspecies Reviewers, this was the top comedy for me. The hilarious interactions between Ranka and Jin, and Ranka turning into a shonen protagonist in the last episode had me cheering her on all the way. Very surprised at how much I enjoyed this. First Beastars, now Seidon Academy. If I enjoy a brand new animal next season, it might be time to look at more furry anime. 7 out of 10. I'm still digesting the weird events of Pet. I was expecting a psychological series with the interesting plots and twists and shock events, but what I got was like a mediocre story with some weird kind of gimmick to it. To me, Pet relied more on how weird can we make the series while still maintaining a congruent plotline. If that was their goal, they achieved it. I do love a good TK opening though. 6 out of 10. Science fell in love, so I tried to prove it. Had a lot of comparable elements to Kaguya-sama Love is War. Interesting enough with this series, I found that my main problem with it was the same problems that people didn't like Love is War. It was an interesting premise, but I found each episode to be too repetitive. 6 out of 10. A mini show about room life in the Laid Back Camp series. 3-minute episodes mean I ended up binging the series all at one time. It was a nice filler in between the 2 seasons, but it's not required to watch by any means. Kinda tough to rate since it was just side events, but I'm looking forward to Laid Back Camp 2. 6 out of 10, I guess. I'm not sure how I managed to finish Asteroid in Love. The show was boring. Normally I enjoy the cute girls doing cute things anime that happens every season. Off the top of my head, if I can remember, I enjoyed watching that weird maid anime where she's obsessing over the foreign girl. With 1010, Hitori Bochi, Slow Start, you get the point. But for this series, every episode for me was a drag to get through. This was probably my least favorite anime I've watched this season. 5 out of 10. Next up are the series that continued from fall that were airing. First up, I really enjoyed this season of My Hero. The Lemillion overhaul arc that started back in the fall of 2019 was great, and I really enjoyed Jiru's place in the performance UA put on. While to me it was the weakest part of the season, I even enjoyed the Gentleman arc. Super excited for season 5 when it gets released. 8 out of 10. Oh god, what happened to this series? I really love the Seven Deadly Sins franchise, but I just couldn't do with the new adaptation and the censorship of each episode. I feel bad for super fans of the series that are reading the manga. They were probably looking so forward to the Meliodas vs. Escanor fight, but that was just awful. Another series I ended up dropping. And that's all I watched for the winter 2020 season. Not a lot, but I did miss out on the big series. Just to know, I am still watching Black Clover, but I'm not fully caught up with it just because I'm watching the dub and it's a little bit behind the sub. I am enjoying it though, and it's been a long time since I've watched this super long series. With that, I'm definitely looking more forward to the spring 2020 season. If you like this video and want to see me do more reviews of seasons, make sure you subscribe and stay notified by hitting that bell. I'll see you guys in the spring.